Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. If you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile podcast, this could be your advertising message. Well, good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Today is August the 6th, 2023, and you may be wondering, hey, doesn't that Vintage Snowmobile podcast go on hiatus during the summer months? Don't they start up again in October? What's going on here? Well, what's going on here is we have stuff that's just too good to wait. We've got events coming up, and we've got event promoters waiting in the wings here just to come on and tell you all about it. It's going to be a special night, so let's not waste any time. Let's bring them on and hear what they've got to say. Gentlemen, how are we all doing tonight?
Very good. Mike.
Good.
Great, Mike. Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. I think this is going to be great for everyone. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, too. So what we're going to do is going to go clockwise and talk up some events. Our good friend Bud Gordon out of Central New Hampshire, he's involved with the New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum. He also hosts a lot of events year-round in Central New Hampshire. Bud, I'll give you a chance to get started and talk up some events you've got on the horizon.
All right. Thank you, Mike. The first one on our schedule is the New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum Fall Swap Meet. That's on September 9th. And as usual, we invite anybody, anything that you've got to sell, snowmobiles, ATVs, motorcycles, whatever, all welcome there. As you can see, everything, all the information is on our flyer there. We are not only billing this as a swap meet, but an open house. We want to invite people to come and check out the museum, look through, check out the sleds, see some of the displays that we've changed around. A lot going on there. We've got a new board at the museum. Several new members on the board have just joined. We're looking forward to some exciting things coming up. I want to talk a little bit about our events page. Ray Lacasse and I started talking earlier this year about coming up with something so that we can work together and coordinate the events in the Northeast and across the snow belt, so that we're not stepping on each other's toes per se with our scheduling. Um, but like I said, the fall swap at the museum coming up. That's about a month away, and from there, I also wanted to talk about our raffle sled. The museum has a 1998 Formula 3 Skidoo that we're going to be raffling off, that will be drawn at the Grass Drags next year in October 2024. We have tickets for sale on that now. I just had it out at a show in New York, selling tickets. Doing very well with it. If anybody's interested in tickets, you can contact me through the museum. My our cell phone is on the homepage at the museum, New Hampshire Snowmobile. That's nhsnowmobilemuseum.com. We have tickets available, $10 each, 3 for $20, or 12 for $50. Get a hold of me. I can mail them to you. You can pick them up at any of the events that I'm going to be attending this fall season or throughout next year. It's a great sled, really clean. I think it'll make a good trail runner for anybody that's interested in it. Some other events that will be coming up that I'm involved in. Mike, there you've got the flyer for Goffstown. This is the Uncanonic Mountaineers of Goffstown Snowmobile Club. We do a vintage snowmobile and mini bike show every fall in October. This is the weekend after the Grass Drags, for those of you who know about that. We invite anybody with, again, snowmobiles 10 years or older to display. Mini bikes, same thing. Showing, we have swap meet for both. And anything is welcome there also, ATV, whatever in the swap. Usually we have around 50 to 60 sleds and around 25 to 30 mini bikes at any given show. Last year we did 50 trophies in multiple classes, some even going out to 5th place in the original and restored classes for snowmobile. Small event, but well liked. I know a lot of people in the area look forward to it. So, and you can see here some of the video that Mike took a few years ago. Have some great stuff show up. We also do a nice penny sale raffle if you're into that. Lots of neat items that you can put a ticket in on. Prior to that, we will have a vintage display tent at the Grass Drags in Epping, New Hampshire, the Racing in New Hampshire snowmobile event put on by the New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum, NHSA, New Hampshire Snowmobile Association, excuse me. And if anybody is interested in getting a sled into that vintage tent to display, you can contact me again through the museum. And we're looking for around 20 to 25 sleds to be on display. They have to be in there no later than noon on Friday, and they must stay until 6 o'clock Sunday night. If you do display a sled, it gives you free admission to the Grass Drags on a daily basis. We give you a wristband for each day. So you can attend the Grass Drags for free, check out everything that's going on. The Watercross is a phenomenal event there. Everybody loves that. So we've got that going on. And I've got a tentative date on another event. HK Power Sports, usually the weekend after the Goffstown show, has an open house, and we do an antique snowmobile display there through the museum. What HK does for us is, if you display a sled there, you get each entrant gets a $25 gift card to HK, and you can use that right on the spot. Put it towards anything you want that they have on sale there, clothing, parts, new sled, whatever. And we also do 3 awards there. We do one for antique sled, one for the best trail sled, and one for the best race sled. So that, like I said, that date is tentative at this point. As soon as Jim Wally firms it up with me, it will be posted on the museum website. And, in a future podcast, Mike, we can talk that up if you like.
Absolutely. I would look forward to that.
And, we talked earlier about Ray and I coming on all the time, and we can go over the events page and what we're planning with that. I don't want to take up too much time on your podcast tonight. We've all got some stuff to go over. But you can see here some of the stuff that we wind up with at Goffstown. Some great sleds show up there. And it's a great time. Everybody I've talked to loves the show. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's an excellent show. Been there several times.
Yeah.
It's always a good time. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate that, Bud. Before we go any further, Ray is next, but we have some comments that have come in. I wanted to look at those real quick, and then we'll get right to Ray. We've got Mike Whiteside saying hello to everyone. Hello back. We've got our good friend Reese Fleury, who was planning to come on tonight, but something has come up, but he says good evening to everyone. So we appreciate him saying hello. Peter Sherba saying hello, gentlemen. Cool deal. We have Cheryl Castellano saying, yay, New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum. And I believe she's involved with the museum.
She is. She's one of our new board members, and she is the new treasurer and membership director. She's taken on a lot of hats for the museum this year.
Very cool.
She's a go-getter. Big help. Big help.
Nice. Now, we also have our friend Bruce Boravarge saying, hello, Mike. Great job. Thank you so much. Bruce, by the way, is on the board of the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Cool deal. And then we also have Mike Whiteside saying, anyone coming to Heydays in Minnesota? Excellent question. And if anyone is viewing this with an answer to that, please post that. And in a little while, we will respond to that. But I believe it's Ray's turn. I'm going to cue up your video, Ray. And while I'm doing that, please tell us about what you have going on.
Yeah, so this is going to be our second annual Vintage Show and Swap up in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. It's going to be September 16th. Registration is going to be 8 to 10 o'clock, and the show will be from 8 until 2 o'clock when it ends. We're going to be giving trophies out. We're giving away door prizes. Going to do a 50-50 raffle. We're looking forward to this being, last year was the first one. It was a pretty good turnout. I think we had a great show. Been working with Bud. We kind of ran into each other as far as the dates last year due to nobody's fault. We tried due diligence, and that's why we talked about putting together the website with Bud, where everybody can kind of go on and post what's going on and set up their schedules around it so that we don't bump into each other and step on each other's toes, because I think everybody's here for the same reason. It's to help make this grow, not to compete with anybody. It's just a great event. All these events that are going on, and it's great to see. We also have in March 9th, we're going to be doing our 4th annual Vintage Snowmobile ride up here, which we've had great success with that and huge turnouts. And we're looking to open up a few more trails this year, probably make it so there'll be a 40 to a 50-mile loop for people that want to do it, but there'll be loops that they can shorten it if they don't want to do that long a ride. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have food at this swap meet, and it's right in beautiful Pittsburgh. So hope to see many people there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ray. We appreciate that. And let's see. I'm going to change things up a little, if you guys don't mind. I'm going to put Josh next. I think he's got something he's got to get to, so we're going to give him a chance to talk up his event real quick, and then that way he can get to some things at home there he needs to tend to. But go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, everyone hear me all right?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, perfect. So this is the old Boonville show. This will be the 3rd year that it'll be in Turin at the fairgrounds behind the fire hall, put on by myself and Ed Stab. He's helped me out quite a bit, and it's turned into be a good show. Last year, we had 218 sleds registered in the show, probably another 50 on display, and a lot of vendors and whatnot participated as well. There will be food, DJ, and we'll be on display. We'll have this year's raffle sled, which is a 74 Alouette Junior Brute.
Yeah.
And it'll be a great event, and if weather cooperates, it'll be same size as last year, if not bigger.
Wonderful. Wonderful. In fact, I'm going to pop the graphic for that on the screen so people can get a good look at the details there. And then we've got a second graphic with more details, all the different categories and contact information.
And if you want to show up Friday, just get a hold of me. There's plenty of area there to park, out by the pavilion or right behind the fire department. And if you need any power or anything like that, just feel free to call me, and we'll get you hooked up with power if you want to camp overnight. So
Outstanding.
Great location, and it's put on by the firemen, in conjunction with the firemen and our local snowmobile club. So
yeah. Very nice. Now, before we get to Daniel, who's next, we've got a few comments who have come in. Our good friend Reese Fleury says, can't wait for Turin. He said, Josh and Ed do an excellent job with that show. Cool deal. And then we've got Bruce Borovar says, hope to make it up to see Marcel with Herb. Herb Yancey must be.
Yep, Herb will be there. I've known him and Herb and his family majority of my life, and more so now into the vintage shows, and he'll be there Friday. We'll get him set up, and he'll have his usual spot next to us with my father-in-law and a few other close friends. So it'll be a good turnout.
Nice. And he also says with Ron Hall and Mark Belanger as well.
Yep. Yes, Ron Hall plans on attending, and Joe Clark, he plans on coming down again. He won the People's Choice last year.
Yes.
So
good deal.
It'll be a great turnout.
Well, cool. We appreciate that. Daniel.
If I could jump in there for just a minute, Mike. I'd like to say I've been to the Turin show the last couple of years, and the venue that they have now behind the fire department is unbelievable. It is awesome, and you guys do a great job. There's always a good turnout there. The venue is much nicer than the field that they had in Boonville.
Thank you.
Awesome place, and I'm looking forward to it this year again.
Yeah, hope to see you there. And if you're there Friday night, again, we'll stop by, share some stories, and chat. And real quick, I also did the Laval show this year for the Snowmobile Association, and that was Memorial Day weekend, and we had 148 sleds at the
Nice.
Laval Fairgrounds. That was a good turnout. Pretty much it was same format as Turin, pretty much identical, just a few sleds less, but it was a good turnout. So I'll do that again this coming year as well. So
good.
But any other questions on that? If not, I got to run. I got two little ones there that are chomping at the bit. So
totally understand.
So
well, cool. Yeah. Unless there are any questions, we'll let Josh go, and we'll bring Dan on and hear what he's got to tell us.
Well, thanks, Mike, for having me.
Thank you.
Good night, Josh.
Good night, Josh.
Good night. We'll see you.
Have a good one, Josh.
Again, thanks for having me, Mike. So our show is put on by the Vintage Snowmobile Club of the Adirondacks. It's an American as well as a Canadian club. And our show this year is on the 26th of August in Ormstown, Quebec. Ormstown is about maybe 35 minutes away from the island of Montreal. I'd say maybe 45 minutes from Plattsburgh, and another maybe 30 minutes from Malone. Our show on the poster, I believe, says from 8 o'clock to about 4 p.m. or 4:30. Actually, people arrive on Saturday morning well before 6 o'clock. They even arrive on Friday afternoon, and people can arrive on Friday afternoon. They can even camp out and do everything that they would do the next day as well. That is display their stuff and start buying from the swappers. So it's at the fairgrounds in Ormstown. It's 1 McBain Street, but this year what we're doing is we're asking people to go by the back entrance rather than the front entrance because of security reasons. And also I wanted to just say that for those guys that are coming on Friday, there are washrooms and showers, so that helps out too. We're expecting 250 plus sleds this year. And we have a good group of vendors, quite a few vendors with quality stuff. And then just to show you, well, that's one of the displays from last year. I'll get back to that one afterwards, but JP Cardinal, Jean-Pierre Cardinal, is going to come with his friends with a collection of Thunderjets, along with they have there's Jim Duff and Robert Butt that have Mercury's Arctic Cats and that stuff. So that's a pretty beautiful display. That is Von Nissen's display of Northways. That is Brad and Keith Warning that brought their 2 Snow Pro ski rolls that Gilles and Jacques respectively back in 1976 for ski roll. And we have, as I mentioned, there's JP with his Thundercats. That there is our T-shirt that we're selling this year for $20. And so Brad and Keith Warning will be bringing with them the Jaws one. They'll be bringing Yvon Duhamel's 1974 Blizzard Snow Pro, as well as Brad Euling's 1983 Twin Track Skidoo. Other sleds that they'll be bringing the world's fastest kitty cat at 59.6 miles an hour. Another smaller Arctic Cat sled, a 120. I don't know. It holds a world record, but I don't know exactly how much it is. And then lastly, they'll be bringing a 1978 cross-country RV in 1978 with the 340 mod kit that I will be purchasing from Keith because he asked me if I wanted to buy it. I said yes. To complete my collection, I have a 1977 RV cross country. I have a 1979 cross country Blizzard, and now I will have the 1978. So I'm pretty happy about that. And we have other displays. I mean, many displays. That is Régent Goulet's display. That's a Jeff Goodwin twin track, the original twin track. And then Daniel Carruthers with a whole bunch of skidoos as well. And there's Marco Vachon from, I think, Different Minds with his BOA skis. And I believe he was in turn. I saw one of the BOA skis a while ago. That I believe is Marco's BOA ski. Then we have a list of guests. Mike Trapp, I had said last year that he was coming. He didn't make it because of mechanical problems with his motorhome. He was on his way, and at about 100 miles, it broke down. So we have Mike Trapp, Herb Yancey, Ron Hall, Michel Gingras, and then we have Gaston Ferland. We have Sylvain Laflamme, the former race directors with Skidoo, Gaétan Chester-Duval. We have Marcel Imbeau. And we have 2 newcomers this year. We have Jacques, AKA Jim Poirier. I showed the Thunderjets, 1972, 73, and 74 Thunderjets, because Mr. Poirier was the industrial designer for Snowjet back in the day. And he was the person in charge of designing the 72, 73, and 74 Thunderjets. He'll be at our show this year, and that'll be quite interesting. He likes to talk. So, I mean, I'm sure that if you have questions during our question and answer period from 11:30 to 12:30, I'll be asking questions, and then I leave the people in attendance ask questions afterwards. But again, if you have questions about those Thunder Jets, he's the guy that you speak to. Lastly, one of our new guests this year is Réjean Beauregard. He, in fact, is the one that designed the 1980, 82, and 80, 1981, 80, 1980, 1981, 82 Blizzard Snow Pro. That's why I have a picture of it. It was Jacques' original 1980 with number 96. Réjean Beauregard will be there, and he is also the person who conceived and designed the 1981 Ski-Doo Twin Track, and there was a motor ski along with it. But he never stayed around to see it fabricated. He was hired by another company, Prevost Buses, and he just resigned from there a few years back. So that is an interesting aspect of our show. We also have a documentary that we'll be showing. It was a recent production. It's the 1968 Polar Expedition, the Plastide Polar Expedition, first to the top of the world. We'll be showing it from about 10 o'clock to 11:30. We also have Mark Smith. Mike, that was on your show last, I believe, March or April. Mark Smith is Morley Smith's son. Morley was the industrial designer for Alouette throughout Alouette's existence. Morley passed away last year in March, and Mark said he will bring more slides of his father's personal collection of photos, and he'll show that from, I think, 11 to about 12 o'clock. I'm trying to rush here because I know that time is of the essence. We also have a movie production company that is making a movie about Gilles Villeneuve's race career. And they've contacted two of my buddies, Jim Duff, Robert Budd, and myself, to help them out find snowmobiles, because in the movie, they'll be showing two races. They're reproducing the 1969 race where Gilles, it was his first race. But the story goes is that he was on his way to a music audition, and halfway there, he decided that he would turn around because he knew that there was a race in his hometown, and he'd rather be at the race than go to the music audition. So he gets there late, starts last, ends up winning the race, and then Ski Roll picked him up, and the rest is history. So they're looking for, we already have 5 snowmobiles, and I think they're looking for another 5. So they'll have a kiosk for that race. And then they're going to reproduce also the race that took place in Peterborough, Ontario, during the Kawartha Cup, where he won with his twin track, the 440 category. So what we have to do is we have to find out which racers raced against him in that category and try and emulate that race. So the race will take place in Valcourt, Quebec at the BRP operations. And I'm going to be in the first race with a 1969 Olympic. So we need 69 or 68 snowmobiles. And what we're not going to do is we're not going to actually race them. They're going to increase the speed in the movie so that we don't hurt ourselves, or at least they think we're going to hurt ourselves. Lastly, I just want to say that we have a microbrewery called Barabas, which will be there, and they serve excellent beers. We'll have a food truck, excellent food, and I think it's a worthwhile show, and you're all welcome. And thank you very much, Mike, once again.
Oh, my pleasure. And yeah, thank you so much. So that's it's an incredible list of things that people can expect at that show. That's a do not miss type of event for sure. And we appreciate that. Now I'm going to remove this from the screen, get the thing back to normal here. And we've got a couple of comments that have come in. We've got a question for Daniel. Reese Fleury says, do you ever do this show in New York State?
No, we don't. It's not, as the other guys on this podcast know, it's not an easy task to put together a show, and we've been at it since 2013, and it's improving every year. And anyway, you never know. Maybe one year our club will decide to do the nationals, and it might be in Malone, New York. I mean, it's just a thought. So anyway, for now, there aren't any plans, Reese.
Sure. Well, good. Thank you for answering that. Well, cool. So our friend and yours, Midge Rosebrook, is next. And I'll pop that graphic, Midge, and give you a chance to get started.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's September 9th, the Hall of Fame ceremony, where we induct the top early first generation snowmobile racers. These are the guys that raced the sleds that you see at the shows that these other gentlemen are having. These are the guys that raced on those sleds when they were brand new. And so anyway, we're inducting 5 pioneers this year. And the first one is Richard DeSantis. And by the way, you can go to cranesnowmobilemuseum.com and click on the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame, and you can see their entire resume in the photo of these gentlemen. And there's a lady here too, and you can read about them. So I'll just go through the first, just a brief thing on Richard DeSantis. He had back-to-back Drivers of the Year in 1978 and 79. Top driver back then. Frank Dodge, I think a lot of people locally know the name Frank Dodge. He was our first #1 bib holder in 1973. He raced for Timberland Machines, and he has a contract business down in Littleton, New Hampshire. Jacqueline DeWitt Rowland is our lady racer, and she actually beat Dorothy Mercer, who was the Polaris Factory pro racer back in the day. And I think she's in the Hall of Fame out in the Midwest. She won the 1976 Women's World Series in Mod 1, and she also took second in Mod 2. But you can see her, entire background if you go to cranesnowmobilemuseum.com. We're also inducting her brother, Richard DeWitt. It's the first time we're inducting a brother-sister team. Their dad, who was a farmer, set their sleds up, and they raced Rupp early on. And it was a heck of a team. And he won, get this, 3 World Series in a row before he was 17 years old. And the last time Richard raced was in 1973, I think, or 74. And he took the top points in Stock D, the number 51 bib, which is the #1 bib in stock racing would be 51. The mod racing goes from #1 down to 50, and then it starts at 51. And unfortunately, and Richard has a heck of a record for no older than he was. And unfortunately, he died in an automobile accident at 17 years old in 1974. But he definitely deserved to be there. And we have the next one is Everett Regal. He was considered the super wrench. That's what he was known as. And he headed up the Widowmakers team from 1969 to 1974. The Widowmakers is a big name snowmobile team, Arctic Cat snowmobile team out of New York back then. And so the team had #1 and #2 bibs, gold bibs, 1 year back to back. And finally, I would suggest people bring their chairs, bring folding chairs, and maybe wear hats and wear their sunglasses, because it's usually, and let's hope, Mike, it's usually a sunny day.
Yes.
It has been. Anyway. We've been very lucky weather-wise. So yeah, that's it. It's something that Paul Crane and I started in 2017, and we're going to continue inducting the top racers of the golden era, and a lot of the early guys are going to be there. I think Ron Hall and his wife Terry coming back. I think Herb Yancey may come over, but it should be a very nice day. And it starts at 1 o'clock. So yeah, and Mike, you'll probably be there, right?
Oh yes, unless I've been hit by a truck or something.
Yeah. So
I would not miss it. No.
Yeah, no. So yeah, unfortunately, Bud and I are a little.
I don't know. We got it again.
We're always, we never can get Bud up there because he's got a show, and then we've got the show. But maybe someday we'll change things.
I know that's a
we'll
busy month for some reason. That's a busy month.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to
not
step on somebody's toes, isn't it? Really.
For years, we down at the museum, we've been dodging that Coast Fun Run or a car show in the area. It just seems like it's always something.
Yeah.
You, Ray, and I got to sit down at some point, and we got to hash this out. We'll figure it out.
We do. Yeah. Bud usually makes Paul's wintertime
always
every year. So
always
we get to see Bud in the wintertime. We never see him in summer.
Yeah.
And if I could add to this, this montage of images we've been looking at, the nice thing about this Hall of Fame ceremony, I mean, it's a wonderful ceremony and everything to recognize all of these wonderful racers from yesteryear, but it's also become a reunion.
It's like a family reunion.
Yeah, because inductees past, present, and future all show up for what you're looking at here. And as you've been noticing probably with these images, this image montage, there were a whole lot of smiling faces in these images. There's one right there. Look at that. Two of them right there.
Yeah. Paul Lamontagne, one of the great main racers.
Yeah, and
Mike.
it is just so much fun.
There's
and
Ron
all these...
Hall and Terry. Ron was one of the best snowmobile racers in the East.
Yeah, it's a who's who of Eastern racing. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, it's the event of the season.
There's Jim Soule. He was a great racer out of Pennsylvania.
And the nice thing is, too, it's very laid back. Before and after the ceremony, these people are very approachable. If you want to approach them for an autograph or to have a picture taken or just to swap stories with them, it's very easy to approach them and hang out with them and ask questions. And just have a good time. And I have to give credit. The young lady in the middle there, she's the one that took all those images, and she's the one that supplied the images for this, and we thank her for that. Elaine Lover
every year. She's one of the nicest ladies that you could ever meet.
For sure.
And Paul Lamontagne's girlfriend.
Yes.
Fiancé. Yeah.
Yes. So. And Paul Lamontagne, let's give him a quick plug too. He was a RUP racer back in the day. He was inducted in 2020. And all around great guy to hang around with as well.
Oh, the best. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of fun to be around.
You'll have a good time with Paul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, cool. So what I think I'm going to do, if this is okay with everyone, we've had a chance to each do a long form version of these events. I've got a couple of quick events I'm going to talk up and then give you each a chance to do a short form version of your event, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. But I do have a couple of quick events to talk up, people who have sent me images. So there's going to be a show in Bethlehem, Maine, September 30th of this year from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. It's right across from Beach Hill Automotive, 4093 Main Street, Bethlehem, New Hampshire. There's a phone number at the bottom there if you have questions. I think it's going to be the 3rd annual, and it's really become a wonderful show. Also, Galitzin Forest Vintage Riders. This is a snowmobile club in Dunlow, PA, Pennsylvania. They're putting on a show and swap, and that's going to be. I need to get up close to the screen here. September 28th, from 10 to 3 p.m. So if you're curious about that, you can find that on a Google search as well. Galitzin Forest Snowmobile Show, and that'll come right up. You can find whatever information you need to find out on that. Also, our good friend Reese Fleury, he was going to come on tonight, but something came up. He wasn't able to make it, but he's the host of the Tupper Lake Snowmobile Club 5th Annual Vintage Snowmobile Show and Swap, Tupper Lake, New York. You can search for that on Google as well and find information. That's going to be a great show too. So with that out of the way, let's give Bud Gordon a chance to give maybe a 1 to 2 minute version of your event, and I'll pop your images on the screen too while
Okay,
you're
thank
doing
you, Mike. Yeah, a couple of things that I kind of glossed over or missed out on completely. We have allowed camping at the museum in the past at our events, the spring and fall swaps. We are working on that again. And if it does get approved, which hopefully I'll get an answer very quick, I'll get that posted. So if you want to camp in the field and set up the night before, hopefully, if not, there is the state campground right down the road around the corner from the museum complex, and camping is allowed there if somebody wants to camp, instead of a motel or whatever. That's possible. A couple other things. I didn't get that far out. We have some rides coming up also at the museum. In January, we have our Bear Notch ride, and that is on Sunday, January 21st, in Bear Notch State Park in Bartlett, New Hampshire. These will all be posted on our website, New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum. That's nhsnowmobilemuseum.com. These events are on the home page right now. The Winter Rally, which will be on Sunday, February 18th. This year's feature sled is Moto Ski. So if anybody is interested in that, it's on our homepage. You can contact me, give you whatever information you need. And lastly is our Franconia Notch Vintage Ride, which will happen on March 3rd, which is also a Sunday. And we meet at Whale's Tail Park in Lincoln, New Hampshire, and we ride the corridor trail up through Franconia Notch, up to the Lafayette campground. And there's a couple little side trails we may be able to use. And for the Franconia Notch ride, we have tried to have a cookout or a club supply food. At the Bear Notch ride, what we did this year was we rode out to a local restaurant and timed it so we were there when they opened, and we sat down and had a meal in there and then continued our riding. And everybody seemed to like that. It worked out really good. So if you're interested in any of these rides, again, they're on our website, or you can contact me through the museum's email or cell phone, which are all posted on the website.
And then we've got graphics too for some of these events. Pop these up real quick.
Yep, that is our fall swap and the Uncanonic Mountaineers. In this one, I've had a few questions on the mini bike show. We do offer classes for vintage mini bikes at this show, and we have some great bikes show up. For any of you who grew up on snowmobiles the way I did, the summertime was the mini bikes and the Honda CT70s and mini trails. And, the bikes that come out they're great. And we've got a couple of local collectors that have some really nice little bikes. So it's worth coming out to check it out.
Yeah, it really is a trip down memory lane for sure. Oh, and one last chance to pitch this.
Oh, our raffle sled. Again, it's a 98 Formula 3 Skidoo 600. Very nice sled, beautiful mint condition, less than 1,600 miles on it. Raffle tickets are for sale, $10 each, 3 for $20 or 12 for $50. If anyone's interested, get a hold of me through the museum. We are going to be at many of the events in the Northeast this coming season. We will be in Taberg this coming weekend, and I plan on being in Turin And then any of the other fall events here that have been advertised, we are planning on being Beach Hills show, the Goffstown show, the grass drags in Watercross in Epping. So just keep your eye out for us and come take a look at the sled. Beautiful sled.
For sure, yeah. And be sure to say hi to Bud if you see him there, and tell him you saw him on the podcast. They'll give him a big smile. Cool deal. All right, Ray, you're up next. I'm going to pop your graphic and give you a chance to talk up your event.
Sure, and I just want to say to Bud too, and I know Midge has been there. Midge has gone up there too. Is the Franconia Notch ride?
Ray and I did a couple of times.
Absolutely beautiful ride and beautiful scenery. Great
Can't beat
people
it.
again. Can't beat it. So, you know,
Good
I think, you know, this is where we come together and try to help each other, just to, you know, keep this going. And I think it's just getting bigger and bigger. So, and I want to congratulate Bud for that and for taking an idea that we talked about and running with it and you know, trying to help this cause a little bit. So
well, thank you. And I can't take all the credit. I've got some good people on the board at the museum who have worked to help me out, and we're going to make this happen.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So to talk a little bit about our show again, it's going to be on September 16th. The one thing I did forget too is we have a raffle sled that we're actually picking up this week. It's a 1972 Scorpion Stinger. It's in pretty good shape that I can see. We had a video sent to us. We're picking the sled up on Wednesday. Going to have it on display for the show. It's going to be awarded to the winner at our vintage ride on March 9th of 2024. So I mean, and that's a great ride. I know Midge has been there. I'm hoping Bud makes it this year because I'm going to make it down here. Now that we've got them separated,
you'll have to kick me up.
We'll get this worked out.
Do the Notch ride again, Ray.
Yes, I mean, if people have never been to Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, some of the best trails you'll ever find in the country. It's just absolutely beautiful scenery, beautiful trails. We have a great club in the Pittsburgh Ridge Runners that maintain these trails. Just a fantastic time. And I just know from the first show, the first ride that we did, the feedback that we got was just incredible. The weather hasn't been in our favor the last couple of years. You know, we were expecting a couple of years ago to break about 400 riders, which was, I think, going to be phenomenal because we've hit close to 200 every time that we've done it. So it's a lot of fun. But our show in September, we're looking forward to that growing a little bit. And I want to get to, you know, some of these other shows. I want to get up, see Dan's and you know, see some of the shows and get some ideas to try to help ours along. And I think that's what's incredible about having everybody that's on here. You know, some great people. Everybody wants to work together and help each other. That's just incredible. So absolutely. I want to thank everybody that's here, especially you, Mike, for putting this podcast on. It's just incredible.
Nice job,
to have you, you know, to do this for us. It's awesome. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, for sure. Happy to do it. It's great for the whole community.
Yep.
And we do have a comment that's come in. We've got Peter Sherba saying that he's talking about your Pittsburgh ride, Ray. He said the ride last year was fantastic. 25 miles of groomed trails.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, and Peter's a great guy. I love Peter, and I've met some fantastic people, you know, through these events. And in the last 2 years, it's weird. We've gotten 2 huge snowstorms right in the middle of these rides. It's been, Midge knows.
Yeah.
We got about 8 inches of wet, heavy snow the time.
8 inches. We got close to 2 feet. It was like 20 inches of wet, heavy snow that year, the day of the ride. So I'm hoping to get a repeat of the first year where just beautiful bluebird skies and the trails are nice and hard and packed, and look forward to that. So. So I can't wait to meet more people and have a lot of fun with this.
For sure.
Yes, definitely.
Well, cool. Yeah, Dan, take it away.
I forgot a while ago to mention that most probably Wayne Nicholson will be at our show as well. And I mean, Wayne Nicholson, if there's a gentleman, it's Wayne Nicholson. Such a great guy. And also, I wanted to say that again. Sorry for last year and the year before, but this year we don't have any restrictions at the border. So all you need is your passport, and you're good to go. So if you're interested in coming, no more restrictions. But I want to say one thing: if you're bringing a snowmobile and you don't have registration, I would highly recommend that you stop off at U.S. Customs before and get a form called the Certificate of Registration for Personal Effects Abroad, CBP 4457. It's a small white paper, and that allows you to bring your not only to bring it to Canada. I mean, it facilitates bringing it to Canada, but when you get back to the U.S. with that paper, they know that that sled belongs to you and you didn't buy it somewhere else. It's like proof of ownership. So I highly recommend people, if they want to bring their sleds, it takes 5 minutes to stop off at U.S. Customs, fill out that little form, and you're good to go.
So it helps things to go much more smoothly at the border on the way back.
Exactly. Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. So also we're on Facebook. It's the Vintage Snowmobile Club of the Adirondacks. This is our t-shirt and logo. I also wanted to say that we were talking about runs. We put on 2 runs in the wintertime. Last year, because of weather conditions, we didn't do our run in Canada. Each time we planned it, it rained and it was just a mess. But we had a run up in Merrill, New York. It's Frank Yanulovich that put the run on. We did about maybe 40 miles. Beautiful. I mean, it's on groomed trails. It's beautiful up there. You're in the Adirondacks, and it's amazing. On our side, I organize a run. 2 years ago, we had it in Hemingford, Quebec. It was Clayton Patterson, Corey Patterson that organized it. But I'll be organizing it around my area this year. We're looking at maybe 35 to 40 miles. And I just want to say lastly that we are indeed an American and Canadian club because we did 2 Ironman runs. We did one in 2015. We did 105 miles on our vintage snowmobiles. And in 2018, we tried to do it in 2016, 17, but because of weather conditions, we weren't able to. But in 2018, we did 184 miles on our vintage snowmobiles. I did mine on my 1972 Nordic 640. And we started at 7 o'clock in the morning. We finished at 1 o'clock the next day. And so we left from Merrill, New York, which is in the Adirondacks, went to Malone, New York, came down to Chateauguay, New York, crossed the border, went to Huntington, Quebec, Ormstown, Quebec, Hemingford, crossed at Moores, New York, came up through Ellenburg and back. It was amazing. So maybe one of these years we'll do that again. So that's it.
Cool deal. And then we'll pop this graphic for your Ormstown event here that's coming up.
Thank you, Mike.
Sure thing. And there's a second half of it here too, showing the different classes and things like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you so much, Dan. We appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate being with you guys. It's amazing being here. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Cool deal. Yeah, go ahead, Medj.
Yeah, I might add that our induction ceremonies are free. We don't charge for you to come and spend the day with us. And the museum is open, and that's free to look through. And Paul's got like 140 some odd, 150 some odd vintage sleds in there on display that you can see. And of course, the Hall of Fame wall, you can read all about our the former racers that used to race back in the day, the top racers. And it's just it's a great day. Just come and join us. We do have t-shirts for sale, and we do take donations to help this thing out. So yeah, in
fact, it's a good idea to get there early so you'll have time to browse in the museum and check everything out. There's a lot to see. It's you're getting a whole lot for your free experience. It'd be how does it say? It would be it would be worth it at twice the price or something. There's a
Yeah.
phrase I'm looking for, and
Yeah.
I can't think of it, and I just butchered it. But
Paul
you
only
get the idea.
charges $5 to go in and normal,
Yes, yeah.
So if
And
anytime
donations are a
anybody
great
wants to
idea
go
because they
check
put
his
a lot of
museum
work
out,
into that.
it's for $5. It's worth seeing,
It's a lot for your
but
money.
it's
for sure.
free on the ceremony day,
Yes,
on the induction day. So
but the donations, like you said, do go a long way.
yeah.
For sure. And we do have a comment that's come in. Let's see. We've got Mike Whiteside saying, I enjoy these podcasts immensely, even though I live in Illinois. LOL. Thank you all. Well, thank you so much for that compliment, Mike. And if you have events that you're putting on, this is our second annual show like this in August. We'd love to have you on next year to include you on the panel to talk up a Midwest event that you might be involved with. We'd love to mix it up a little. We're trying now, with New England and Quebec, but we'd like to broaden it too to include other parts of the country because I'm sure there's plenty of events that we'd all like to hear about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. So I'm going to take a moment here and talk up some things. I've got these events we talked about a few moments ago, right across from Beach Hill Automotive in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, 4093 Main Street. They're going to have their third annual Vintage Snowmobile Show and Swap. Great event. I've been to the first two and they were wonderful. Also, Galitzin Forest, Pennsylvania. This is Dunlow, Pennsylvania. They're having a Vintage Snowmobile Show and Swap on September 23rd. And then, of course, Tupper Lake, the Tupper Lake Snowmobile Club, September 23rd. They're going to have their 5th annual Vintage Snowmobile Show and Swap. And of course, Josh Leviker, who was on here earlier, he had to go to take care of his young children, but he's got an event he's involved with coming up Labor Day weekend, September the 2nd, Turin Park, New York. That's always a great show. You will not regret attending that show. Here's the second part of the graphic here. Shows all of the different categories. There's also contact information at the bottom. So if you have questions or if you're thinking about registering a sled, those are the numbers to call, and they would be happy to assist you with that. Well, cool. Any
Notice
final?
he had the loudest sled listed on there, Mike.
I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah, the loudest sled.
Nice. Yes, item number 22.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
So bring your earplugs. They must have a decibel meter to measure that, I would imagine.
Get some big 803 banger in there.
Yes.
I don't know. Some of those little twins, they're got a cackle to them.
Yes. In fact,
I've run a couple of those loud pipe contests, and I'll tell you what, you'd be surprised what those little 250s can put out for sound.
Yes.
How about those that old stuff with the megaphones, bud?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't put out the decibels that.
No.
And I don't understand why that they don't come up high on the meter.
Yeah.
They really don't. But
Yeah.
I was amazed. Jay Egan's little 250 moto ski at the museum one year, that thing blew 165 decibels on the meter.
Oh, wow.
And before that, the loudest one we had ever had was my Thunderjet that buried a meter at 150 decibels.
Yamahas are loud.
Oh yeah, Yamaha. They got a
engines
nice
are
sound.
loud.
I don't care what anybody says. Yamahas sound great.
Yeah.
Those
they
old
do.
free airs, they got the sound.
They do.
And I know one year at Goffstown, Bud, this is a show that you organized. Dave Stroud, I think, won the loudest with one of his LT Grays.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was an ear splitting sled as well. I don't know what the DBs were, but that certainly was a loud
I think he runs
sled.
it around 118, 119 decibels.
Yeah.
Mm.
That'll vibrate the eardrums for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
And we've
It's
got
that
more
cackle
comments.
that gets you that
The
sting.
crackle. Yes.
Yeah, that cackle. It's
I like that
yeah.
for sure.
Start one of those mod pipe sleds and people come running.
For sure. It is a show. Now, we've got a few comments that have come in. We've got someone on Facebook saying, good show. Hope to see you in Pittsburgh on the 16th of September. And I'm hoping to go to that show as well. And then let's see. Bruce Borovar says, gentlemen, thank you for the update. Great job. We appreciate that. And Joe Marks says, thanks for the shout out for the Galitzin Forest Vintage Snowmobile Riders Show. That's their third year. The show is free to attend, and they're expecting a great turnout. Outstanding. Thank you for viewing, Joe, and for sending me that graphic. I appreciate that. And unfortunately, we lost Dan. I don't know if something came up or maybe we just had a bad connection or something. But if you're watching, Dan, or if you view this later, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to have a Canadian on here to help mix it up. And then we'll just go around the room here real quick for final comments, Bud.
I think I pretty much covered everything. Any questions, post it in the comments, and I'm glad to answer. And I look forward to seeing you at all of these events. Also, one other quick thing that I didn't mention is when I go around to these other shows, I not only bring the raffle sled, but I bring the museum memorabilia and merchandise. We have T-shirts. You can join the museum. If you join the museum, you get a members only T-shirt free for joining. We do have sweatshirts, hoodies, working on some other clothing. We offer a few books for sale at these events. So, it's not just that we show up with the raffle sled. There's other merchandise available too. Anything
Right.
that helps support the museum.
Good deal. Good deal. And we lost Dan for a minute. Good to see you back, Dan. And just to bring you up to speed, we're doing final thoughts. And it's Ray's turn for a final thought.
Well, I just wanted to ask Dan on these rides, the vintage rides up in Canada. Do you need to register them up there?
The trail that I organize, it's not on federated trails or provincial trails, and so you don't need registration. It's always preferable if you do have it, but it's not necessary. But in the state of New York, Frank obtains a permit so that we can go on the state trails. And the only thing necessary is that your snowmobile be insured. It's not necessary that it be registered, but it has to be insured.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Automatically, a lot of us Canadians will register and insure our sleds to ride in the States. And then when we come back, well, we have them insured and we have them registered. But some guys, they join us and they don't have registration. So
yeah. Awesome. And that's the same with our ride. We get a permit through the state. So as long as you stay on the designated trails, which we mark pretty well, you don't need a registration. You don't need insurance in New Hampshire. But you probably should have it, but just so everybody knows. But I'd love to get up to Canada and do some riding. I'd love to get the vintage sleds up there and go too.
Well, you're always welcome, right? I mean,
I'd love it. Yeah, thank you.
Just tell us and we'll accommodate you. Don't worry about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. We got a good gang. I mean, we got a really good gang. We get along very well. We help each other a lot. And if someone has a problem, we're always there and we find a solution.
Good. Thank you, Dan.
We don't have the numbers. I mean, we ride, like maybe 20, 25.
Yeah.
And we find it convenient because we don't want, there are some rides up here in St. Justin to Newton, there'll be 250, 300 snowmobiles and things slow down. And then a lot of breakages and, but for us, I mean, we just ride and we have a heck of a time.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Cool deal. And then final thoughts, Midge?
Yeah. I would like to make a shout out to Bruce Borovage also. Bruce, there's no one on the board of directors that works harder than Bruce Borovage at getting the right people on that wall. So I couldn't do it without Bruce.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
Yes, thank you, Bruce. Cool deal. Well, good. I think we're going to call it a night. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming on and telling us about your events. We very much appreciate it. Thank you also to the viewers as well who make this all possible. And yeah, as always, we give the last word to AMSOIL, and we look forward to seeing everyone at upcoming Vintage Snowmobile events.
Thank you for
having us.
Thanks, Mike.
Great.
Good seeing you guys.
All right.
Good night, guys.
See all of you.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye now.
Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about AMSOIL. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your AMSOIL products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what AMSOIL is and why you should consider using AMSOIL products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. AMSOIL is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses AMSOIL for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that AMSOIL is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because Amsoil doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And Amsoil likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves some money. Some of the people like the benefit of Amsoil is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, Amsoil says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the Amsoil bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the Amsoil. Amsoil's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero.
Wow.
If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out, and once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So Amsoil's an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running Amsoil than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Amsoil is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear lube? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that Amsoil has available.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the Amsoil experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen. And yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
Amsoil has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, Amsoil will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer, you save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. Amsoil sends you extra gifts, a $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account, and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value. And this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering Amsoil. Is that correct?
It is.
Wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an Amsoil order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to amsoil.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, amsoil.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the Preferred Customer Program page, where you can take advantage of all of these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says Shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click Shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil. And you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've joined the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click Add to Cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and your the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click View Cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order that gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of the signature series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click checkout now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an AMSOIL account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to AMSOIL. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike LaPierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for AMSOIL under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. And the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for that, for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, wkspodcasts@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the vintage snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters, free DVD requests, so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering AMSOIL as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from AMSOIL, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up, and you can buy directly from AMSOIL. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the AMSOIL marketing plan. AMSOIL has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing, or hot rods. We have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business that's I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing AMSOIL for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with AMSOIL. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate AMSOIL leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes. And just by wearing my AMSOIL hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about AMSOIL. People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the product.
Perfect. Well, cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
AMSOIL's a fun business. AMSOIL's been around since 1968. It was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the AMSOIL products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the AMSOIL products or to join the AMSOIL team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.